I know it sounds too good to be true, but in this video we are talking about the most convenient, least expensive, and longest lasting ceramic coating. What's going on, guys? Luke here with Wilson Auto Detailing. I'm a professional detailer based out of Nashville, Tennessee. Listen, before we get into the video, if you are interested in getting into ceramic coatings but you don't really know where to start, paint correction feels confusing, the overwhelming amount of products available is confusing, go below in the YouTube description box and grab my free ceramic coating quick start. This is a free ceramic coating 5-part video series where we teach you not only how to get involved in ceramic coatings immediately, but more importantly, how to actually start cash flowing this part of your business by bringing in customers. In the detailing world, it is really common to find plenty of product reviews, torture tests, ceramic coatings on all different kinds of cars, but nobody really teaches you how to actually bring in your first few customers to start coating vehicles, and that's what we want to teach you to do below with that free video series. Once again, the link is in the YouTube description box below this video. Now let's talk about this ceramic coating. I applied the new McKee's graphene ceramic coating, their carbon coating, just the other day, and this particular ceramic coating is designed to be a 5-year ceramic coating. It is also a retail ceramic coating. It is also a single application ceramic coating. And while I don't necessarily think that this ceramic coating is the most convenient, longest lasting, and least expensive, it is what this coating represents, and that's what I want to talk about as we review this product. Now, I applied this ceramic coating to a Kia Soul that was really beat up. It sits outside 100% of the time. We just wanted to clean this thing up, give it a single stage paint correction, and put a ceramic coating on it that's going to last at least the next 2-ish years with this particular car sitting outside in the conditions that it is in. And not to harp on this point too much, but of course the specific conditions that the car is in is going to be a lot of what determines the actual durability of the coating long term. Now, in the application of this particular product, I would prime the pad by putting basically a stripe of the ceramic coating down the middle of the pad that actually comes with this particular ceramic coating. Then I would do one more stripe down the middle, maybe a little bit to the right or to the left before my first application. Once again, this is simply priming the pad to ensure that I get a bit of an equal spread of the ceramic coating around that pad. Then I would apply in a crosshatch pattern according to the directions to that cleaned surface and prepped surface. And let me take you guys to the whiteboard to give you a couple specs on this product. As we flash back and forth to the actual application of this product on the car, it's important to talk about a few things. Number one, this particular ceramic coating does not actually have the most clear manufacturer's directions. And what I mean is sometimes when you're purchasing a retail grade coating, there will be manufacturer's directions that are super specific, like don't do in a crosshatch pattern, make sure it's a 30-second cure time, only use 16 drops on the applicator in the first pass. Often when those manufacturer's directions are really specific, we want to follow them to the T, but other times with retail grade ceramic coatings that might be a little more flexible in their application, the manufacturer really only touches on what I would call kind of the generic ceramic coating rules, which are things like a basic 10 to 30 second flash time, a crosshatch pattern, using 2 towels, letting it cure for 24 hours, and in a lot of ways that's actually what we see with this particular graphene coating from McKee's. Number one, the flash time is not super specific, but like you guys have experienced on the Wilson Auto Detailing YouTube channel, if you've followed this channel for any amount of time, anytime I'm using a ceramic coating, one that I'm familiar with or not familiar with, I will push the limits in a lot of different ways. And so I can tell you guys that in an environment at about 65 degrees with about 30 to 40% humidity, because this time of year in Tennessee it actually is really humid, the ideal flash time for this particular product was around 15 seconds. It actually was not very long after I applied the product when it actually started to tack up. You get that rainbowing effect, you see that iridescent appearance, and then you're ready to pull it off. And it was very easy to pull off. Now, I did push the boundaries and say, okay, what's gonna happen if I let this flash for the next 30 seconds, 60 seconds, a minute and a half? And I will say, after like 40 seconds, it gets pretty grabby to pull off, which tells me once again, somewhere in between that 10-second and probably 30-second flash time is really where we wanna stay, no matter what conditions that you're in. But again, when you're in those more extreme conditions, extreme heat, extreme cold, extreme humidity, that's what's gonna change that. I did use 2 towels the entire time, but about halfway through, I changed my initial buffing off towel for a new one. The reason is that second plush towel that I use to basically pull off any of the residue of the ceramic coating for that second buff off of the coating itself does not pick up a lot of residue throughout the application because again, it's a second buffing towel. But I would suggest that if you're doing a car this size, maybe a sedan even, actually changing out that first initial buffing off towel at least halfway through, because you do pick up a lot of residue simply because when you're using a pipette kind of application like this requires, you do tend to use a little bit more product than maybe other products. It is a 5-year single application product, and this is actually where I'm talking about this being one of the cheapest, most convenient, and longest lasting ceramic coatings. It's not that this particular ceramic coating is one that I suggest above all else, because it actually isn't, but I do suggest coatings that are single application, 5+ year in durability, and when the numbers are worked backwards in terms of how much you're using per car, it's a very reasonable, very economical application. For example, based on what I used from this particular bottle, I would think that I could get through easily 4 different cars this size with this bottle, and because it's $129, that brings me to about $32 to $33 per application. Once again, if we're charging upwards of $800, $1,000, $1,500 for an application like this, then if our cost to do this outside of our microfibers and basic chemicals is $33, then we're creating a lot of margin. Now, the other thing that I love about this particular product is that it can be applied to glass, black trim, the rubber seals that surround the windows, the headlights, the wheels, every basically exterior surface can have this particular ceramic coating applied to it, which is particularly convenient when you're doing the glass, simply because oftentimes with a car like this that's really been beat down over the years and we're bringing it back to life, those rubber seals around the windows, certain parts of the black trim will not only be really faded but also really sun damaged, and oftentimes a ceramic coating that cannot touch the black trim is really annoying to deal with when you're trying to do windows on a car like this, because those black trim and those rubber pieces are only going to be restored when you're able to kind of put something like a long-term ceramic coating that will kind of deepen that black appearance, because those rubber seals in particular cannot actually be fixed, they have to be replaced, but they can kind of be masked with a ceramic coating like this. So I do love that I can kind of knock those two things out together. I can not only coat the glass and get a long-term durability on the glass and protection, but I can also hit those areas around the glass, making it not only look really good, but also be really convenient for me as the one applying it. Now, it does have a 24-hour cure time, so this Kia has been sitting in the garage for the last 24 hours. And again, that's kind of the manufacturer's directions that is generic with basic ceramic coatings. And no, ideally, I don't like touching water or any chemical to a ceramic coated paint until about 7 days, no matter which one I'm using or what the manufacturer's directions say. And yes, this is a graphene oxide ceramic coating. And while we could go into a lot of detail about what that means, essentially, rather than just a silicon dioxide SiO2 basic ceramic coating, different manufacturers implement things like titanium oxide, graphene oxide, essentially other elements that can experiment in different ways with longer durabilities, maybe different slickness, different gloss. Sometimes you'll hear that graphene coatings tend to become slicker with age, different things like that. Now, whenever I'm getting familiar with a ceramic coating, I always like to apply it to a test hood and actually not remove it, essentially just to see what happens as it hardens on the paint. So I want to show you guys what this looks like. I'll give you guys a few different angles, but of course you can see that rainbowing, tacking up, iridescent picture that we're talking about, kind of like oil sitting on top of the water. If you look out on the interstate or on the highway, you can see this kind of effect. Now I want to show you guys, when I move my hand across the coating, what does not happen. There is no smear, nothing moving around. Whether we're talking about retail grade coatings or professional grade coatings, when they form a hard barrier like this after they've been curing for about 10 to 12 hours, this is a sign to me that this isn't just your average retail coating. It actually is something that is going to, in some sense, follow its own durability claims. Now, in an effort to experiment just a little bit more, I am going to use just a tiny bit of polish to see if I can polish through this ceramic coating. Now, I want you guys to see that essentially what we've done is polished right through the middle of the ceramic coating. Once again, this ceramic coating was applied and it was not removed at all. So there's a really thick layer of the coating sitting on the paint here, okay? This was not like removed and this is just a high spot. And we did polish through just the middle of this, you can see, successfully, and removed the ceramic coating from the paint successfully in probably about 15 seconds. Now, to bring all of this home, as you guys are looking at a final result of the application of this ceramic coating, so you can see that depth of gloss, even on white paint, it looks really, really good. I want to say a couple things. Number one, the reason I do an experiment like this is to show you a few things. The first important point is this. The graphene oxide ceramic coating from McKee's is a great retail grade ceramic coating that is available to anyone with absolutely no background, no training, no level of expertise, and it is relatively difficult to mess up because, like I said, not only is it obviously going to be applied to the paint, but the black trim, the glass, the rubber seals, the plastics, all of that sort of stuff can be touched with the ceramic coating without being messed up, and they can be coated and essentially restored with this coating. And in addition to that, like I said, it does not have this hard flash time where if you don't get it off the paint in a certain amount of time, you're going to be screwed, you're going to have to be polishing it off, all that sort of stuff. In that way, this coating becomes very convenient. In addition to that, the fact that I can get through 4 cars at about this size puts me at around $32 per application, which means I produce a lot of margin in my own business. So in that way, it lends itself to be a profitable coating because it sits really at an inexpensive price point. perfect. And using those two previous metrics, a retail grade coating that's easy to apply, hard to mess up, and relatively inexpensive, it also lends itself in that category as a relatively durable coating, because honestly, a lot of retail grade ceramic coatings are not going to have the kind of durability that this is, and that's actually why I did the experiment on the test hood. When you can see a ceramic coating legitimately form a shield of protection on a test hood like that, and there is absolutely no smearing, you can even feel that physical shield on top of the clear coat, it is an indication to me that this coating is going to last longer than the average. Yes, I've used many retail grade coatings that even after curing for 12 hours on top of test hood clear coat like this, I can move it around with my hand, I can move it around with a little bit of chemical. I could not do it with this coating. It took polishing to actually move it around and ultimately pull it off. Now, my point with this video is twofold. Number one, this is definitely a great ceramic coating at a retail level for anybody who just wants an easy access to a ceramic coating. Once again, least expensive, most convenient, long lasting. A coating like this definitely falls into that category. That said, if you were asking me to pick between this and then my professional grade coatings, I am going to pick my professional grade coatings. Why is that? Because in the detailing world, we often say, well, there's no difference between the professional grade and the retail grade, and frankly, up to this point, I still do find a stark difference between the professional grade coatings that I use and the retail grade coatings that I use. In fact, sometimes using the professional grade coatings in the experiment that we did in this video, polishing over the ceramic coating to remove the ceramic coating, some of those professional grade coatings are so hard and so cured to the paint that as you polish over them, you will actually burn through the clear coat before you burn through or remove the ceramic coating. That's how hard it is. The clear coat will be removed before the coating itself. You're never gonna get that kind of action with a retail grade ceramic coating like this, but once again, least expensive, most convenient, really durable. This is going to fit into all of those categories because you don't have to have any training, you don't have to have any certification. You can purchase it for a relatively low price, and yes, it is going to last at least some years depending on the situation that the particular car is in. So guys, if you're interested in getting your hands on the McKee's graphene ceramic coating, the product will be linked up in the YouTube description box below, as well as all of the products and tools that I use to prep a car like this for a ceramic coating. Once again, don't bounce off this video until you get the ceramic coating quick start, the free 5-part video series below in the YouTube description box, where we teach you not only how to apply ceramic coatings like this, not only how to get into the paint correction world in an inexpensive and non-confusing way, but also how to bring in your first few customers. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, keep working hard, and I'll see you in the next video.